Welcome to Kiki and Kibbitz. It's Mary, and I'm here for my live Saturday night shenanigans, my live recap, and I'm here tonight with my guest co-host, Justine, one half of Mr. and Mrs. Montana Mills. Thank you so much for joining me, Justine. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
So how are we feeling?
Feeling good, living the pregnant life day by day, has its ups and downs, but we're happy and blessed. So it's been good.
Can we say how far along we are, or?
Yeah, sure. I'm 23 weeks. So we're right in the middle of things. Some time has passed, but still have a ways to go.
Yeah. So you're right in the middle. And so how are we feeling? Morning sickness?
The morning sickness has passed, but I have like these reoccurring kidney infections that land me in the hospital. They're so painful. That has been one downside to it. But I know that all this hell that I'm going through is going to be just an amazing blessing.
Do you have a history of kidney infections, or is this something with just this pregnancy?
Yes, this is just something with this pregnancy.
Oh my goodness, girl, because I have a history of kidney infections and that is painful. That sucks. Oh, I'm so sorry. Is the baby like on your kidney or something? Do they know why this is happening?
They do not know why. They actually just prescribed me a medication that I take daily now to kind of suppress, me getting the kidney infections.
Okay, that's good. That's good. So, how's life with the blended family?
Life is good. Life is good. I'm enjoying it. Lots of children in the house, of course, but it's been fun.
Cool. So, Mike popped in before we went live to say hi. So, he's there and everything is cool. So we're here
he's right there in the bedroom, probably watching.
yeah, he's probably watching. So hi, Mike. And we're going to recap last night's episode. And I know you watched it, and I'm sure you have thoughts and feelings about it. Yeah. So we're just going to hop right into it. So last night's episode was, let me pull my notes up. Let's see here. We have we're in season 4, episode 4, more money, more problems. And I'm sure you'll agree with that. More money, more problems. Definitely. Okay, we are going to start with Cam and Eris. Okay. Now, first of all, I like them too. I like them. Cam started out a little rough. Don't you agree?
Yeah, he's a little rough around the edges, but that's how it can be sometimes, fresh out, they're ready to just take on the world, rip roaring through it. But I'm really have my fingers crossed for them. They're another married couple on the show, so I'm really hoping it works out for them.
I believe that Cam has the greatest intentions. He's a little rough around the edges, but you know what I love the most about him? And I got to interview him. The way that he loves Lena. He calls her my daughter straight off the bat. That's my daughter. That's my daughter. And you see that bond. And I know you could, totally relate to this with the blended family. Yeah. And I love it. And you could see it between them.
Right. Yes, you can definitely see. I was thinking that when I was watching them in the ocean last night and just having that bonding time. I thought it was very nice. And it's really good to see things like that, especially when some of the biological fathers, they have all the opportunity in the world to be a part of their children's lives and they don't take it. And then a man who is stepping in by choice, they really fill that role and they do a good job with it. And, I give them a lot of credit for that. That's awesome.
Right. I mean, I loved how he said, oh, it's okay that we're going to meet her friend Priscilla, but I really want to see Lena. I'm looking forward to seeing Lena. I haven't seen Lena. Right. So it starts off with they're in the furniture store. And I wrote in my notes, there was so many things going on in that scene. It's like
Yeah.
she's on speakerphone talking to her friend. He's like walking around the store talking to himself. And I said to my husband so many times, he reminds me of my husband. It's like he's like the silly, goofy one. He says like all these crazy things, and she looks at him like, could you stop it? Like, stop the
Right.
shit.
Yeah.
So he's looking in the full length mirror and he's like, I could make a porno in this mirror. And that is something my husband would say.
Oh yeah, it's something Mike would say too.
Yeah,
Definitely.
totally.
Definitely.
And we would be the ones like, would you stop, please? We're
Right.
in public. Like, come
Right.
on.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh my God. So I wrote in my notes, there was way too many things going on in that scene for me to deal with at one time. He's
Yeah.
like looking in the mirror, looking at the bed. She's on speakerphone, you know. But so they're going to go meet her friend Priscilla, and Priscilla's a former CO. We all have a friend like that. They may not be former COs, but
Yep.
they act like former COs.
Yeah.
Do you have a friend like that?
I do have a friend like that. And, you guys might actually be able to meet her later on in the season. But yes, I do have a friend just like that. Yes.
And was she like looking at Mike side-eyed? She was like,
They haven't met yet in person.
wow,
They
okay.
haven't met yet. Mike hasn't, met a lot of my personal, friends and stuff because we live so far away from where I'm from. So he
Okay.
hasn't had a chance to actually meet face to face yet, but
Where are you originally from?
Rhode Island.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And so when you told your friend about Mike, was she kind of like, what are you doing, girl?
When I first told her, she was like, I mean, is this going to be like a pen pal friend? And I was like, yeah. Like it's not going to be anything. It's not that serious. Don't worry about it. And then I told her I was going to go visit him for the first time. And she was like really confused by the whole thing. And I was like, don't even worry about it. We're just going to sit. We're just going to chat. It's not going to be that big of a deal. And then when I came back after the first visit, I was like, yeah, I love him. And she's like, Justine. She's like, what are you doing? But, she supported the move. She supported the marriage. She's been very supportive of the whole entire thing. But I definitely think when they finally get face to face, she's definitely going to ask him the hard questions. She's going to ask him the things that I wouldn't have asked him.
Of course.
But it's just because, her and I have had like a very tight relationship since we've been around 15 or 16 years old. And, she has my back. So she'll ask
Right.
the hard stuff.
Just like Priscilla was asking Cam the hard stuff,
Right.
I mean, she wants to make sure that her girl is going to be protected, and Lena,
Right. Exactly.
and Cam, which I also understood where he was coming from, because he's like, respectfully, I only have to answer to one woman, but also she has her own support system. So it's kind of like, yeah, you only have to answer to your woman, but your woman has other people behind her that you're going to have to answer to.
Exactly. A lot of people, they want to know, especially in this kind of relationship, they want to know what's going on. They want to be able to understand it because it's just so different. It's not the norm. So it catches a lot of people off guard, especially those really good friends.
Right, exactly. So I get where Priscilla was coming from. I get where Cam is coming from, but keep our fingers crossed. But as far as we know, they're still together.
Right.
Cam got a job. Cam's doing what he's supposed to be doing, and
can't knock him for that. Any man that comes home and is getting a job, no matter what the job is, you got to give them credit for that. That's big.
Yeah, you got to give him credit. As long as he got a job, he's doing what he's supposed to, and it's legal. Right. That's all we care about. He could be working at McDonald's. As long as it's legal, he's bringing home a legal paycheck. That's all we care about.
And I actually appreciate a man that would be willing to work at McDonald's because it shows their character. It shows that they're willing to do anything for their family. It doesn't matter what it is. And, I give a lot of people credit, that's awesome.
Right. I gave him credit where he was talking to Priscilla, and he said, she's going to teach me how to budget. I never learned how to budget before. I never had a job before. I love that he, knows that he doesn't know how to do things. He needs to learn how to do things, and he's willing to learn.
Right. Letting that wall down, letting somebody know, I might not have it all together right now, but I'm willing to learn. That's big. That's very big.
That is very big. That's very big. and the scene with him and Lena in the water looking at the stalks. I love that. It just gave me
Yeah.
all the feels. Gave me all the feels. Okay, so do we want to move on to Lindsay and Blaine?
Okay.
Lindsay acting like the godmother and collecting old drug debts. Lindsay is too much sometimes. I love her to death, but she is too much. Tell me what you think about Lindsay.
I think she's a very beautiful girl. I do think that every time she comes on the screen, I'm like, wow, she's a very pretty woman.
She has
I
great
think,
hair, doesn't she? I love her
yeah,
hair.
just everything. She's a very pretty girl. I just think, let all that go. Let that be in the past, start fresh. You have a good relationship. You really have something good going. You're mending things with your daughter. Everything seems to be going in a great direction. Sometimes it's hard to let go of what you're losing, especially, money and stuff like that. But sometimes it's just better to let it go and know that in the future it'll be better.
But Blaine also has a lot to do with this because he's making her unnecessarily worried. Because if he already struck a deal
Yeah,
with the lawyer, and the lawyer's like, okay, first of all, you're not going to pay 15,000. It's going to be less. You're going to have, house arrest and this, that, and the third. You see, Lindsay is still worried about this. She's acting like the godmother in front of you, trying to collect old drug debts.
right.
Why don't you just tell her, Lindsay, listen, I took care of it already.
Right. Well, I don't know why people do that. Like, just be honest, be transparent about it. She's gonna be by your side regardless of it.
Right,
So
right.
just because if she's willing to do all of that, she'd be willing to, stand by your side. And honestly, it'd be a weight off her shoulders. House arrest from the charges and the years that they were originally talking about. I mean, that's really good. So she
I
might even
don't
be
understand
happy.
the whole concept of, well, I'm trying to show her that I'm taking care of it. Well, just tell her
Right. Right.
already,
Being honest and just upfront with it, that is a big part of a relationship. That is taking care of it. You're taking that weight off her shoulders. So
Right. I don't get it. I don't get it. It's like, Lindsay, please. So then they go to visit his father, and
right.
his father's a trip. His father was like, oh, so you were her pimp, basically. No, she was your pimp. She was your pimp.
Yeah.
Straight out, she was your pimp. And his father was like, I think, she is too much for him, but I support this relationship.
Right.
And, the father's a character. Lindsay goes off to buy Miley Grace a purity ring, which I would like to know why the store clerk asked her if it was her first purity ring. How
Yeah.
many purity rings do you buy?
Right. Exactly. And I think she was a little young to have had time to have multiples. So
Right.
yeah, that was a little odd.
That was a little odd, but I applaud Lindsay for having that open conversation with her daughter.
Definitely. I definitely think so. Because when she was talking about her past and her past relationship, I could relate to her right down to the T. It sounded almost like me talking to Kylie. And I really appreciate those open conversations because that's how we help our daughters, do better than what we did. We're open about our mistakes. We let them hear about it. We let them learn from us. And I really thought that was a nice clip of them.
Yes, I love that. I love how she's very open, and just letting Miley know this is what I did. I don't want you following down my
Right.
path instead of, keeping it secret,
Yeah. Yeah, because
I,
when she first started off, she said that they didn't have a lot of those talks between her mom and her. And I can relate to that also, like back in the day, like it was a little bit different. But
this,
now I
yeah,
see that
because
there's a lot of us being a lot more open.
our
And
parents were so old school, so they didn't talk
right.
to us about that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
We learned from
Exactly.
TV and movies and this and
In
that.
all
Like,
the wrong places that we shouldn't have been learning anything from.
exactly. So, it's up to us to, be more open with our children so they're not learning it from the wrong places. We don't want them to
Exactly.
learn it from the wrong places. So,
I definitely applaud her for that. I thought that was awesome.
right, right. So I definitely applaud her for that. So they buy her a purity ring, and then Blaine goes to the attorneys.
Yeah.
I think Lindsay's going to be pissed. I think Lindsay's really going to be pissed because she's twisting herself into a pretzel.
Right.
Thinking,
Stressing out, trying to do all these things when you could have just been straight up and probably taken, a little stress off her.
right. I know. Like Blaine, like, and doesn't Blaine realize that like Lindsay or like shanked him in his sleep? Like, hello.
Yeah, I know. And you know what? Blaine doesn't even seem like a bad guy or anything. And I genuinely think that he believes his intentions, like he's really trying to do the right thing. Like I don't really see any ill will or any,
Not at all.
thing from
Neither
him.
do I. No.
I just think that he maybe should have did it a little bit differently, but I really believe that he has like a nice, genuine, intention behind his way of trying to do it for sure.
Oh yeah, so do I. I think that he's just trying to be like the Southern gentleman. Don't worry, I got
Exactly.
this. I got this. I'll take care of it. But he should also know the type of woman that he's dealing with.
Yeah.
Lindsay's, like she said, I'm a planner. I'm strong-willed. I like to have a plan for everything. So he
Right.
should know if this is the woman I'm dealing with. Maybe I should tell her that I have a damn plan.
Exactly. Yes. Let her know. Let her know that she has that team member and you guys are in it
Right.
together.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, come on, Blake. Communication. That's
yes.
one thing. Men are not good at communicating. Don't you agree, Justine? They cannot fucking communicate.
I do agree that they have a harder time communicating than women.
Yes.
We got to teach them a little bit.
Right. Even when it comes to like the simplest things, like just letting us know that they're that they need whatever, that they need deodorant. Like we're supposed to know that they need to, you know what I mean? Like we
I
go
would
shop.
say Mike is relatively decent at communicating, but I'm still like, come on,
Mike.
like,
Yay.
Yeah, but yes, men, yes.
Oh, goodness gracious. Yes, men. So, okay. Do you have anything else to say about Lindsay and Blaine besides Blaine should communicate better, a little bit better before he gets shanked?
I hope that it all works out for them. They really do seem like a cool couple. They seem like they really have good intentions with each other and that her daughter is involved in it. I hope it all works out for them. And I hope, house arrest can sometimes be a good time. I mean, he's going to be in the house, maybe give him some bonding time.
Right, more bonding
shows,
time.
Hope they make the best out of it. It could be a fun situation. I wouldn't mind if Mike was stuck home with me. I would love it. So maybe they'll make a great time out of it.
Exactly. Hey, Justine wouldn't mind a little house arrest with Mike.
I don't want him to get into trouble, but I wouldn't mind.
Right, exactly. Just a little, Oh my goodness. So, okay. Now I want to move on to you guys.
Oh goodness.
Okay. Little Mike has come to live with you.
Oh, yes.
How is that? How is that? And Mike and Big Mike.
When he first brought it up, when Mike first came home and everybody came for the barbecue and everything like that, his son had a really hard time leaving, and we knew right from then that he really wanted to move in. And, I was totally on board with it. I say just let him stay then, but
right,
we have to get things. There was discussions that had to be had between the parents and things like that to go about the right way. So, a couple weeks later, he was like, I really want to come. And, we all thought it was a good idea. He's just turned 14 today. So happy birthday to him. Because I think
happy birthday, Mike Jr.
So it's a good time for him to be with his dad and bonding and learning how to become a young man.
This is the perfect time. Yes.
Yeah. So we were like, absolutely. So, he moved on in. I think it's been great. He's been a great addition to the house. He's very kind. He's well-mannered. Between Michael's mom, his sister, and Mike's mother, they did a great job raising him. And I've had just a pleasure having him in the house. I love him to death. I think he's amazing.
He's adorable. That scene between him and Big Mike made me cry. Honestly,
yeah. I could see Mike choking up too in the scene, like because he missed his kids a lot.
Of course.
He did. He missed his kids a lot. And even though Mike is here, there's still 3 children that still live in Rhode Island. So I know it was hard on Big Mike and Little Mike. Little Mike had to leave his sister and his brother, to come be with the dad, and they couldn't come be with their dad, and they want to,
Right.
and Big Mike is excited, and he's embracing his son, but he's like, there's still 3 more, like, and I really want them all. So, we're looking forward to summers and school breaks. We spend a lot of time with the kids. We're actually going back home to spend some time with them. So, we make it work the best we can.
Right. So, Mike in this episode got his travel permission.
Yes.
Okay. Fantastic. And in case anybody missed it, I am wearing camouflage pants.
Yes.
My black hoodie and my beanie.
Right.
So I could be a triplet. Okay. I want to be a triplet. So we got the announcement that Mike got his travel permission, and you guys are going to Sin City.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how is that going? What is the status on that so far?
So, well, I mean, you're going to see it all play out. The whole thing is going to play out. It was one of the places on our list that we were thinking about moving.
Right.
When we did our vote, it was the one that won.
Right. The kids are like, yes, Sin City, mama knows best. Right.
Exactly. She does. So, yeah. So we're going to be looking at houses and things of that nature, just weighing out our options to see if it's going to be a good place to settle down in, because, we're bringing this new baby into the world, and we have other businesses and Mike's music. So we want to make sure that we're finding the best place, that will be good for the entire family and all the ventures that we have.
Right. So what is it about Las Vegas that draws you? So, like, what makes Vegas the best city so far? Like, what makes it the best option?
Well, like for me, when I was originally talking about Vegas, and Mike and I have been talking about Vegas for a while now, long before TV cameras ever came into our life, we've been talking about Vegas. And it originally kind of came into my head because his music has done so well, like on the East Coast, New York. He's, done so many different things in Miami and Florida over there. And so it just had me thinking, like, if he's already been so well known on the East Coast, what can he do on the West Coast? Like, what's the opportunities out there for him? There's totally different opportunities than there are on the East Coast. So, we started talking about it in like that way. And then some of the other ventures and businesses that we have, we thought would be really good for Las Vegas. And, they have acting schools and stuff like that, high schools. My sons are really into the performing arts. So we're thinking about those things as well.
Okay.
And they have a good college, which my daughter did apply to. And she did get accepted into, but we're not sure exactly yet which school she's going to go to. So I'm pushing for it.
Okay. Right. You're pushing for it. There you go. Perfect. So now this episode, he announces he got the travel permission. You guys are going to go look at houses, but Mocha is kind of pushing that he travel without you, that he do this whole thing without you.
Right.
Now, what is your, like, first of all, why does Mocha think that he could push this whole career without you? And why does he want Mike to take off his ring? Like, what is up with that bullshit, Justine?
Honestly, as a person, I think Mocha's a nice person.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't think there's anything wrong with him as a person, as a man. Now, when we get into the manager side of things, I think he maybe is just a little old school with that whole ring thing. I don't think that it really matters. There's so many
I don't think it matters either. Exactly.
Rappers, artists, celebrities in general that are married, and
because you and I both know that if a thought wants someone, they're going to go after them, married or not,
regardless if they have
a ring. Yeah. I mean, we both know, we both hear scandals all the time.
Exactly.
Thought wants someone, she's going to go after him, married or not.
And if anybody knows Mike and they're willing to try to go pursue him, then that means they've already done their research. They know he's publicly married.
Exactly.
And I just want to go on saying, like, whether Mike has his ring on or not, that doesn't make him less of my husband. He's still my husband, whether the ring is on or not. But it's a visual, symbolic piece that we wear as a sign of our commitment to each other. you know,
Right.
and,
Exactly.
and that's what it is. And I think a lot of people that are like, oh, like who cares about the ring and stuff, forget that when we got married, he was in jail. He didn't come home with me that day. So a lot of the times all we had were to look down at our ring and remember we're married, and to stay strong and to get through this time together. You know what I mean? So that's why the ring is so important to me.
Right. Because it's symbolic. It's
Very.
symbolic. It's sentimental. It's, it's a
Yeah.
symbol between you and him. It's a symbol of your love. So for
Right.
Mocha, for Mocha wanting him to take it off, to you, it's like a big fuck you, honestly. That's
Yes.
the way I see it.
It's
That's
like
the way I see it.
he's not thinking about the days where I was here by myself and
Right.
all the time that I put into supporting Michael and everything like that. It makes me feel like he's just kind of overlooking it. But at the end of the day, Mike has the final say,
Exactly.
and those clips, I'm not present for that. So I'm
Right.
watching that along with you guys. So when
Exactly.
I heard what Mike said, it made me feel really good. And I was like, that's my husband. And those are the things that I really love about Mike. And, regardless to what anyone says, he's going to do what he wants and what he feels is right. And, I'm glad that, he stuck up for our relationship, not just me.
And I'm very happy that he stuck up for your relationship.
Yeah.
I was so happy to hear him do that, because that's bullshit. I mean, it's like, come on. That like really pissed me off. Thank you so much, Capricorn 11, for the super chat. I love you. Okay, so now Mike calls Anne to tell her that he got the travel permission, and you and Anne had some beef,
Right.
and you guys are on the road to healing. So
Yeah.
how is everything now?
Things with my sister-in-law and I, they're good. You know what
Okay,
I mean?
good.
Everything's always a work in progress.
Exactly.
Mike has all sisters. He's the only boy from his father, and then he has like a younger brother, and then it's just like a lot of women. So I'm just
Mhm.
another woman in this,
We all
you
know
know?
how women could be. Oh,
Right. And
yes.
we're all vying for this piece of him. So I would say, we're working on things, but she's an amazing sister. The things that she did for her brother while he was away, you know, I don't even know how she did it. I don't know how they had the strength to do it
She
all
really
those
stepped up
years.
for him,
Oh
didn't
my
she?
God. Oh my God. In ways that people can't even imagine. Some of us are out here like can't even get a babysitter. And
Right.
the way that she stepped up for those 4 children, um, is very admirable. So,
Yeah.
regardless of the things that her and I go through, we'll definitely work it out.
All
There's no
right.
way,
Of
like, you know
course.
what I
Yeah.
mean? It's
Mm-hmm.
family nonsense. It's water under the bridge, and we're both just excited for the new baby. And I can't wait for her to be an aunt to my child, like the way that she has been to those 4 children, because she's amazing.
Right,
I have nothing
exactly.
bad to
I
say
mean,
about her
she's a
in that way.
fantastic aunt to those four, and she's going to be a
Absolutely.
fantastic aunt to yours. And I'm sure
Absolutely.
she's a fantastic aunt to your children.
Oh, absolutely. They had a blast during that time that they were with her, and I actually really felt comfortable. I really did. I'm not gonna lie. I was away on the other side of the country, and I felt so comfortable with her being with the kids. They had
Right.
great times. They were cooking, they were baking. It was all good. So definitely.
Your husband just gave me a $9.99 super chat.
Oh, he's
Thank
watching.
you, Mike. Thank you so much. So him, Anne, and Anne's husband go to the
Wife
jewelry
and
store.
wife,
And I'm
Carmen.
sorry, Anne's wife.
It's
I'm sorry,
okay.
I got
It's
distracted.
okay.
Anne's wife, Carmen, they went to the jewelry store. And this was funny though. This was funny because they went from discussing DNA tests. Okay.
Mhm.
I like how they transition from, okay, well, are you getting her an engagement ring because she's pregnant? And mommy is gonna make sure that kid gets DNA tested. To,
Right.
oh, by the way, I'm browsing for engagement rings. I
Yeah.
like that
Oh,
transition, Mike. That was a good transition.
yeah.
That was really funny. But how do you feel about his mother's tendency to swab the kids? Now, I get it about her brother. I get the whole thing about her
Yeah.
brother, and
Yeah.
I get how she's suspicious and everything, but that would still, I would.
The only thing that really caught me about that whole thing was that throughout the 3.5 years that I was waiting for Mike, I
And she
was
was your friend first, on
right.
top of
She was
that.
she was my friend, and it was 3.5 years. I was completely celibate the entire time
Right,
until the night he came home,
right,
literally.
right,
And she never questioned me. No one in the family ever questioned me. And I was alone 7 hours away. So you would think that that would be the time to be like, hey, what are you doing out there? Are you doing anything? Or just like, a time
right,
where it could raise questions. And never once was I ever asked, because they knew the way I felt about Mike. They knew I was in this. They knew I was committed. And so, they supported me like that. And I really appreciated that. So to kind of get that out of left field,
right,
it hurt,
right.
hurt my feelings a
I
little
know. I
bit.
could imagine. I could imagine. I would have
It
been like,
did.
what the hell?
Especially because her and I had talked for the longest about when Mike comes home, we really want to have another baby, really want to have another baby.
Did you
So
know, though, about her swabbing his other kids and her having a history of doing that stuff? Okay.
I did. And
Okay.
I had said to Mike before, I'm like, you don't think she would ever do that to ours if we ever have one, right? And he would always just be like, my mom, I don't know with her. So when she
Right.
brought it up, I was like, we're going here?
Right.
But,
Right.
honestly, I am not always going to be with her when she's with the baby, because I want her to have that time with our child, bonding time, grandma time, all that kind of stuff. So if she ever was to do something like that, without my knowledge, I mean, it would almost be a laugh at the end of the day, because we all know this is
Right.
Mike's child. So I have nothing to hide. So if she did want to do that, I mean, hey, you'll find out what we already know. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? And then it would be
Exactly.
something that she would have to kind of live with, and know when she looks at me and the baby, stuff like that. But I honestly don't think that she will. I'm hoping that she doesn't, because I want her to believe me, and I want her to know that I love and am very committed to her son and our
Right.
marriage and our
Right.
family. So
I like how Carmen just stood there throughout the whole conversation, just
yeah,
silent. Like she's just like
that's
she doesn't
Carmen
put
though.
she
That's
doesn't put her
Carmen.
2 cents in. I like that. I like that. And one of our viewers has a question. Is Mocha married?
Mocha is not married.
So maybe that's why he has that kind of view.
Yeah. I mean, his tagline, if you were to Google him, it's "The ladies love Mocha." So I don't think he's tied down to anyone. I don't know if he's dating. I'm not sure. Unlike him, I don't get into his personal life. You know what I mean? I
There
stay
you
over here.
go.
So what
There
he
you go.
does,
And maybe
I don't
that's
know.
why he has such a casual view about taking the ring off and all the and such
Yeah,
a casual view
maybe.
towards your relationship because he's not married.
Yeah, he's a bachelor.
Right,
He's living that
exactly.
bachelor life. And there's nothing
Ex-
wrong with that. But
exactly.
his good friend is
Brianna,
married.
thank you for my super chat. Oh my goodness, I'm getting so much money. They're like throwing money at me like I'm a
Yeah.
stripper, Justine. Oh my goodness, I feel like a stripper. Oh my goodness. So he looks at 2 rings, okay, and they were both gorgeous,
Yes.
honestly. But I did like the second one. I did like the second one. Okay. And Anna's like, okay, so how are you going to pay for this? It's not cheap. And he's
Right.
like, don't worry, I'm going to make this happen. But then he's like, I have to replace this money before Justine notices.
Yeah, and again, like I said, I'm watching things with y'all like that he's filmed. So I'm looking back at him now in the room, like, wait, what? What's like, oh my gosh. Like
So
he
you're
said, we
looking at him
share.
like, interesting. So that's where the 5K went that mysteriously disappeared from the account, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. But you know what I will say is that we both equally contribute to our finances. So, I would never have a problem with him, if he wants to do something nice for me, who am I to
There you
stop him?
go. There you go. Who are you to stop him? Who are you to stop him? So, and then the producer. I love how the producer was being shady. He was
Oh
like, "Oh, sometimes I have to do things that are shady, but not like in a bad way." And the
yeah,
producer's like, "Well, that sounds like you're being shady." I'm like, "Yeah, well, Mr. Producer, you're being shady, so shut up."
right. Oh, but yeah, they know what they're doing when they're
They
adding.
know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. And speaking of knowing what they're doing, we can move on to Derek and Monique,
Yes.
even
Okay.
though I told you how I feel about them. So,
Right.
okay, I just want to do my my little imitation of Derek's sister after the fight. Okay, my fingers hurt. Ow, ow, sis, my fingers hurt. My fingers hurt. Girl, okay. First of all, I want to know what your opinion of that fight last week was.
A lot of people have asked me this of what my opinion on the fight was. I say to each their own, what's good for one may not be good for the other. I don't like to get physical with people, but that's just me. I don't know the ins and outs or the inner workings of what was going back and forth between the sisters and Monique's sisters. I hate that it had to come to a physical altercation because that sucks. Nobody ever really wins when we get physical. We're all in the wrong. I personally didn't like watching it just because I don't like to see people like that.
I know.
I don't like to see people of color acting like that. And I know that Derek was just released and that can be a sticky situation with him being around that stuff. And I would hate to see him go back to
And that's the
jail.
thing that pisses me off because I feel like he stirred up the drama and then he's playing the victim. He's like, "Oh, they're putting me in this position where I could go back to jail and blah, blah, blah," which I feel like, but he's the one that stirred up the drama. He's the
Right.
one that basically put everybody in a position to fight and to send him back to jail.
Right. And I just think as adults, we all need to be able to have that pause button, to be able to put that break on, to be able to check our own self when it's getting heightened. Because even myself, during that barbecue scene, I wouldn't have let it get physical. I would have known when to put those brakes on, even though I was very
And you
heated and
walked
very
away.
upset.
Walked
You know
away.
what I mean?
Exactly.
And also
Exactly.
because, I would never want to come to a physical altercation with my family. You know what I mean? It's hard to say sorry after that. It's hard to forgive after that. And I wouldn't have wanted to start out my life with Mike getting into a physical fight with his sister, because where do we go from here? You know what I mean? It's like, it just would not be good. So, I just hope that the family, the sisters, if everyone's still all together, they've made a way to work it out and get past it,
From what I understand, the word on the street is apparently Derek and Monique are not together and they are doing this press tour.
Really?
Basically, yes. Basically, there was an incident during filming and they were fired. And
Oh,
from what and his sister Elizabeth has been going around because I do this as a career. So
yeah.
she's been going around doing the lives, doing the rounds, and she says that Derek put his hands on Monique during filming.
Yeah.
And as we seen last week, Derek put his hands on Monique's sister, grabbed her by the back of her hair to pull her off of his sister. So that doesn't surprise me. If he put his hands on Monique's sister, putting his hands on Monique, that doesn't surprise me. And from what I understand, they've been fired. This is what I hear. Word on the street, Elizabeth, going live and saying things.
Right.
And I can see this happening because of what happened with the Chris and Gabby situation.
And
The
that's what I
network
was gonna say.
is not going to mess with somebody, domestic violence. They're not going to have Derek
Right.
on if he's putting hands on women.
Right. Yeah, I was gonna say that. If any of that to be true, that's an unfortunate circumstance. As we've seen last season with Gabby, there's no place for anything like that, and it's very unfortunate, and
Yes.
if that is the case, I wish them the best,
Right.
and
Right.
nothing but positivity to both of them.
Yes, exactly. And if Derek's putting his hands on women, he really needs to get the help and just stop before he winds up going back to jail. But his sister is all over Instagram and she's spilling tea. And this is what she's saying, that her brother put hands on Monique and they've been fired.
That's really
And I
unfortunate.
could see that happening because of what he did to Monique's sister. You see him clearly grabbing Sylvia by the back of her hair. And
Ooh,
I keep saying that wasn't necessary. If he wanted to break them up, he could have gotten between them. Justine, when you're trying to break up a
yeah.
fight, and he's a man, he really didn't have to grab Sylvia by the back of her hair. He could have, like,
Like, not gonna lie, I was watching the fight through like a crack in my finger like this.
right. I
I
know it's,
really don't like stuff like that. So
yeah,
I'm sure like I missed like, the fine details of that because
right, right.
I just don't like
Yeah,
it.
I know. I don't blame you for watching it like this.
Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah, it's horrible. So, and the other thing I really don't like about this whole storyline, and like I said before we went live, I feel like they bring my Ratchet TV down, is, they're doing their interview rounds, and I've watched a couple of interviews that they've done, most notably the Carlos King interview.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And basically, Derek admitted that he had just cheated on Monique the month before the interview.
Mm.
And
Mm.
Monique always deflects. Whenever you ask her, how do you feel about Derek cheating on you? How do you feel about Derek cheating on you with the 10 women? How do you feel about the cheating? Instead of her addressing the cheating directly, she would deflect and always talk about the sisters and talk
Right.
about Elizabeth being a trans escort. What does Elizabeth being a trans escort have to do with
Yeah.
you and Derek's relationship? Stop deflecting, Monique, and let's talk about the issue at hand. And
Right.
Elizabeth, the only thing that I ever agreed with that came out of her mouth, says that she does not appreciate Monique constantly talking about her journey and her story, when her
Right.
journey and her story has nothing to do with Monique and Derek's journey.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, I can agree. And I think like a lot of the times when women get hurt, especially by someone that we love so much, and we stay,
Right.
it we have to swallow down that humiliation. I mean, because we've all been there. We've all stayed in a relationship too long or through something that hurt us, you know what I mean? And now when it's a public thing, it's like you have to swallow that. And it can be really hard to stand there beside the person that hurt you, you know what I mean? So that's probably, I would think, why she probably tries to deflect from it. And that
Right.
sucks because, when you're on the outside and you're going hard and riding out for somebody on the inside like that, it's like you want them to come home and do the right things, and you want to believe that that time that you sat there and waited was all, for the right. And I can say, like, thank God, that Mike has been everything that he said he was going to be to me and to our family. I know a lot of women, they don't have that same story, and that really sucks, and it breaks my heart for them because I know how hard it is to sit here and do that time with somebody. Mike has really set the standard, and I'm actually really happy that it's been able to be televised so men can see, it's okay to come home, be with one woman, and start your life and do the right thing. You don't have to continue to do the wrong thing. So, I really think Mike is doing a lot more than he thinks he's doing. He's really setting the standard for men right now, and he's doing a good job with it. That's my boo.
Yes, that's your boo.
I love him.
Yes. So Derek didn't get a ride back with his sisters. His sister
No.
said,
He had to get in the crew van.
He had to get in the crew van. His sister said, bet you ain't getting a ride in my car.
Yeah, not today.
Oh my goodness. Elizabeth is too much. I like Elizabeth. Elizabeth shoved him. halfway across that parking lot. She was like,
Yeah. And I was actually happy when I first seen her come on the show. I was happy that, we get to explore like that journey and see that, and it's on TV. And I just thought it was a great opportunity,
right.
for the world to be introduced to, a Black trans female. And I just thought it was
Yes.
awesome to see.
Yes, me too. Me too. Even though she is too much sometimes. She is
Yes.
too much. Okay, so now we're going to move on to Sean and Sarah. Now, I know Sarah got a lot of beef about this. And now I just want to remind people that sometimes what we see on TV is not really what's meant. And you know what I mean, Justine.
You know what
Okay.
you mean?
With editing and things like that. And okay, so Sarah took Abby to go see Mommy's Special Friend.
Yeah.
Okay. And let's just say things are not what as they appear on TV. She took her to go see Anthony, and they went to go hang out in the park.
Right.
Now, I get both sides. She
Yes.
she didn't want Sean to know because she wants to make sure that this is a real thing before she causes drama in her marriage. But she's going behind her husband's back, and she's breaking her own rule, because if her husband was doing this, she wouldn't like it.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Now, you have baby mamas and baby daddies. So what do you think
Right.
about this? Like, if Mike was doing this, would you like it? If you had a similar situation, would you feel it out first before telling Mike? What would you do?
Okay. So with Mike and I'm stepping into his life knowing that he has children with two other women. So me knowing that, I know I have to be supportive of the entire situation. Knowing that I'm making myself available for him to be able to come and talk to me about anything. So I would want him to come and tell me the truth, and I would support him in that, and I would support the child in that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think that they should talk about it because they're married.
What if one of the parents involved was kind of like the baby daddy in this situation, a drug user in and out of rehab, hasn't been involved all this time, and you don't know if this is going to be a short thing or if this is something that's kind of like a whim and he's going to be gone in 2 weeks anyway.
I feel like it would be, with it being so complicated like that, it would be a good opportunity to talk to your significant other about it, hear their
Right.
perspective, hear their opinion, and really get their support on it, because this is going to be hard journey regardless of it. You
Okay.
know what I mean?
Okay.
So I
Mhm.
definitely think that it's a good segue to open up that door for good communication about the situation.
Mhm.
For sure. That's what I think.
There
But
you
I
go.
I, I know where she's coming from too, because with raising my daughter, there's been long time lapses between, her seeing her biological father and stuff. And every time that I had to bring her to a restaurant or to a park to see her dad after years have went by, it was hard for me, because I'm wondering, is this going to be the time that he sticks around? Is this going to be the time that he doesn't let her down? So it's so hard, and you want to be making those right choices, but you never know. You just never know what you're doing. You never know what that other parent is thinking or going through. So it can be a really hard time, but I don't think there's ever really a good time to reintroduce. You know what I mean? It's always going to be hard. So I
Right.
really
Right.
feel for her.
Right. Exactly. So, they play for a little bit in the park. Sean is calling her. So she goes home and she tells Abby, don't tell Sean that we were in the park with Anthony. And she goes in the house, and Sean has set up a hot tub in the living room.
Right.
So first we had a sex swing, and now we have a hot tub.
Yeah.
So first we have Sean turning Sarah down because he's tired. And now we
Right.
have Sarah turning Sean down because she's tired. This is what we call parents right?
Yes, this is
Right?
married life right here. Yeah.
Married life, the life of parents. Okay,
Yeah,
one of them's horny and the other one's tired, and then the other one's horny and that one's tired. Welcome to parent life.
that's exactly what it's like. Yes.
Okay, and Sean is like, I'll enjoy the bubbles on my own.
Yeah, yeah. That would be something Mike or I would say. We'd be like, yeah, fine. But I thought it was so funny that he had the hot tub in the living room. I thought it was like just it was adorable, and I really wanted that moment for them, especially because I know how hard that day must have been on her. I really wish
Right,
they could have had that full moment, but
right.
it was very comical.
Right, it was comical. And it was comical when her daughter said, Can I get in there? And she was
Yeah.
like, Yeah, maybe tomorrow.
Right. Yeah. We all have that one kid who just is not reading the room.
Right, exactly. It's like, oh, that's cool. Can I get in there?
Right.
So, Sean gets all upset and Sean thinks it's about him.
Yeah.
Sarah doesn't want him anymore. And Sarah's like, I just want to go to
Yeah.
bed.
Yeah. I know. Right. Oh
Like,
my
I'm
God.
tired. Like, probably the baby was up half the night or something,
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I think that anytime, no matter what the situation is, when we're not being 100% with our other person, she probably really wants to too. And I feel like that's maybe why she's like, let me just get out of this situation real quick because I really want to tell him. Maybe I don't know how. It's weighing on me. It's stressful. I don't know if this guy's going to come back around. I don't know if my daughter's going to be let down. Like there's so many things going on with her. Maybe she just wants to be like, I'm just going to end this night, sleep it off, and start fresh tomorrow.
yeah,
While he's
exactly.
sitting in the hot tub.
While he's sitting in the hot tub, she's gonna find him asleep in the hot tub with the smiley
Right.
balloons around him. Oh my goodness. Okay. I think we're gonna get to the final fire,
Yeah.
fiery, oh my goodness, of the night. Okay, first of all, Taylor and Chance go to a financial advisor, wind up turning into a marriage counselor. This
Yeah.
poor lady was sitting there looking at them like, what the hell? Okay, so we already knew Chance is bad with money.
Yes.
Okay, but it's worse than what we thought. Okay, the guy likes his sodas, his breakfast sandwiches, his vapes, and to go to the casino.
Yes.
It's like, okay, but first of all, he's like, I have 7 credit cards, and they only have, a $200 balance here, a $300 balance here. Chance, the last episode we saw you try to pay for that dinner with like 4 of your credit cards. Okay, but they're not maxed out.
Right.
Then he has all these loans. Okay, and Taylor's a stay-at-home mom. They have 3 kids, one on the way, but he makes about 70,000 a year, and he likes his sodas, his vapes, and to go to the casino.
Right.
What do we think about this, Justine? And mind you, around this time last year, he was on this channel bragging about his credit score, and I gave him a lecture about bankruptcy because I've
Oh,
declared
wow.
bankruptcy twice. And I
Oh,
gave him a
wow.
lecture. I gave him a lecture that credit is fucking dangerous, that they suck you in, and before you know it, you have all these credit cards. And you're like, oh, cool. And then before you know it, like you can't afford to pay your minimum payment. A
Right.
year ago, I lectured him. So what do you think about all this?
Like when Mike and I were watching, I was like, oh my God, like I could feel like the tension because when they were just going bill after bill and the credit card situation. And I'm thinking in my head, this woman, she's pregnant, she's getting ready to have this child. This is the last thing that she needs to hear. She needs to feel that security and she needs to know that everything's going to be okay. So I was definitely feeling for her. And again, like I really feel like he wants to do good, when he got her the car and he did all that stuff and he's trying to do good. I believe that he has good intentions. I wish that, all men, when you're feeling like the water's coming up above you a little bit, just talk about it. Just say it. Let's figure out how to get
Yes.
through this.
Yes.
It doesn't need to get that far. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
I wish that maybe he could have talked about it with
I
her.
hated when he said, oh, I can't tell you anything. This is the reason why. Of course she's getting angry, because she's learning all this for the first time.
Yeah, and learning it in front of a camera and in front of somebody else. You know, she maybe felt like that because she maybe would have liked it to be more private, where they just talked about it and stuff like that together. So I wish it could have went differently. I hate talking about finances. I hate talking about money. I hate talking about anything like that. I hate it. Like I
I
just
know,
hate
me
it,
too.
you
I
know.
know.
So to have the
That's
world
the
watching it,
only part
oh,
of adulting I hate is
yeah,
finances, right? Is
yeah.
oh God.
I just don't like talking about money. I just don't like it. It
I
makes me
know.
uncomfortable.
I know. So she's like really she's really upset about this. And she's like, if he's
Mhm.
been keeping his little side casino trips from me, what else is he keeping from me? So she
Right.
decides to look in his phone while he's in the shower. And she starts finding shit, Justine. And
Yeah. Yeah.
ay.
Yeah.
And that's when Taylor flips the fuck out. And
Right.
she starts finding shit from someone named Work Jess and deleted pictures. And we know when there's deleted pictures, that's never good.
Yeah. You know, when there's smoke, there's evidently
There's
fire, right?
fire, definitely, literally fire,
Right.
literally fire. And I love it because Taylor's like, the sweet, innocent, she's like
Yeah.
that sweet girl. But when you piss her the fuck off,
Yeah. Once you take her there, there's no
yeah,
turning back.
there's no
Yeah.
turning back. And I loved it when he came rushing out of the shower with the towel wrapped around him. He's like, "What are you doing?
He
Where's
was
my phone?"
rushing and trying to get his underwear and everything on, trying to catch. That's how you know, like his heart must have sank, like, oh my God, what did she find?
Yep.
You know, then
The
that's
look,
never a good feeling.
that look of panic on his face.
Yes, yes, yes. We've all been there. You
Yep.
know, we've all gotten into our crazy woman mode. You know what I mean? I know
Mm-hmm.
I have.
Oh, I know
Um,
I have.
but you know, I was just thinking about like the whole time. I'm like, oh my God, she's so pregnant right now. This is the last thing she needs. I just wish she could go kick her feet up. I wish she could go sit in the hot tub. Like,
Right,
you know
exactly.
what I
She needed to
mean?
go
That's
sit
what
in the
I was
hot tub. Sure
thinking.
needed to get out and let her in there.
Right.
Mm-hmm. She had smoke coming out of her ears, her nose, her ass, everything
Yeah.
else. She was
Yeah.
like,
Oh my God. And I just wonder what was going through his head. Like,
and then when he said something like, "Fucking idiot, it's not going to happen again. You're going to sleep in the garage tonight." Oh
yeah.
my
And she was
God.
like, it's my house.
And she was like, "It's my house." I was,
Right. Yeah. Oh my
oh
God.
my
Those
God.
marital arguments. It's like you bicker, you go back and
And
forth.
they're not even married. On top of that, they're not even
Oh,
married
really?
yet. They're not even married yet. No,
Oh,
girl, they're not even married yet. That's the worst part of it. They're not even married yet. God,
because I
is
know,
that a
like, you
red
know,
flag not to get married or what? Right?
right. Mike and I will get into our little spats here and there, but you know, when it's nighttime, one of us is looking for the other. You're gonna come lay down, right?
Right? Exactly. Right? Right? Like you're coming to lay down next to me.
Right.
Oh my goodness. So, do we have any other thoughts, feelings about
I,
this
I thought
episode?
it was I thought it was a good episode. I think collectively we all bring something different to the table. All these different couples. You know, I wish everybody the best. I enjoy watching everybody. You know, there's a
Yeah.
couple that
I
I'm
mean,
really, really rooting for.
so who are you really, really rooting for? Besides, of course, you and Mike. But who are you really, really rooting for this season so far?
I'm really, really rooting for Cameron and Eris. Really, really rooting for them. I think that they're an adorable couple. I think they bring, great things to the table. They have a great daughter. I can actually really see them going far. And I think that Cameron is willing to learn and wanting to put himself out there. So I think,
Yes.
I think
Yes.
that's the first step. So I'm definitely rooting for them.
Yes. Same here.
Sure.
Definitely. Thank you so much for joining me, Justine. I had a
Thank you
ball.
for having me. Thank you so much.
And thank you, Mike, for the super chat. And thank you for watching us. And thank you, everybody, for watching us. Thank you for all the super chats tonight. I feel like a stripper with all the money being thrown at me. And see you guys next week. Don't forget to watch Justine and Mike. And Justine, do you want to talk about Mike's new song? I shared it to my Instagram story. Let's talk
Yeah.
about it.
Yes, everybody needs to get out there and check out his YouTube channel. The song's called Me, Myself, and I. It's a great video. He looks amazing in it. The song is great. You can get it on Apple Music, Spotify. You can stream it everywhere. I Don't Care is still doing really well, you know, and look out for everything that he has coming because he has an album coming soon.
Yes, so check it out. I shared a little clip to my Instagram story. Go check it out on his YouTube channel. And thank you so much, Justine.
Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Thank you, you too, and see you guys soon.
Bye.
Bye.